For 20 years, I was bullied by the sister of a friend. Her insults were eventually met with a response from me, and now half of our friends want me to apologize. My refusal, however, sparked a fierce conflict between us. To provide some context, my buddy Beth, who is 34 years old and 33 years old, has a sister who is 38 years old and has detested me ever since we first met. I was constantly referred to as a weird freak, and she claimed that I deserved to be bullied at school because I was a geek. I stopped going to Beth's house because of Jill, and I didn't see her again until she turned 18 years old, when she claimed that I was bothering her boyfriend. For the simple reason that I was too unattractive and peculiar to attract my own guy, I merely said hi. Not long after that, she went, and I was relieved to be free of her presence. The other three members of our group, Liz, who is 33 years old, Kelly, who is 34 years old, and Megan, who is 34 years old, and Megan, who is 34 years old, are also scheduled to join us for dinner. For a number of circumstances, this was the first actual opportunity for us to see each other in almost 2 years, and none of us could contain our excitement about the prospect of catching up. If Kelly and I were to go to the restaurant, Beth offered to take us there. I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome and a number of chronic pains, which makes traveling tough for us. It came as a surprise to us when Jill answered the door to Beth's apartment after we had taken a bus together. Because we had a strained relationship with Jill, Beth ought to have informed us that she was going to be coming to visit. On the other hand, we were polite. It was a pleasure to see you, Jill, and I wanted to know how you had been doing. Kelly held her in high esteem, clothing. Jill gave Jelly no consideration and added, "You are better than you. And you are still a pale freak, aren't you, regrettably?" I lashed out at her, telling her that at least I'm not a resentful old lady harboring resentment for a child of 12 years old. Perhaps you should try to mature. Jill went all out and yelled for Beth, claiming that she wouldn't come back. Both Kelly and I were perplexed by CT's refusal to apologize and his refusal to take us anyplace. Why would she do that? Jill was supposed to be the one to drive us, but Beth came out and disclosed that her vehicle was inoperable. There was no reason for me to be so cruel to her sister, but that's just Jill's sense of humor. Jill was referred to as a bully by Kelly, who informed me that she was surprised that I hadn't lost my cool years earlier and instructed me not to apologize. I refuted the information. We were ejected from the restaurant when Beth made the remark, "You can get to the restaurant on your own, Kelly," and I dialed Liz and Megan's numbers to inform them that we would be running beyond schedule as a result of the split cab fare. It is Beth. Meth. Beth needed to acknowledge that her sister's actions have consequences because she was siding with Jill, and Liz believed that I should apologize in order to ease the tension. Megan, on the other hand, considered that this was long overdue and that Jill had got what she deserved. We hired a taxi, and when we got there, we discovered that Beth had already left because of what I had said to Jill. I refused to apologize. It was a week ago. In the event that I did not apologize to Beth's sister, she will not speak to anybody other than Liz, who informed her that she blamed me. You, Ida? Any thoughts? I am grateful to you, Beth and Jill. While I was observing Liz and Beth's reactions, I felt like I was going crazy, and Kelly and I were confused as to why Beth had not warned us either. She is aware that our past relationship with Jill has been a negative one. Despite the fact that I value your feedback, I'm thinking about severing ties with Beth if she continues to behave in this manner. As a result of writing this, I have come to the realization that I have been too lenient of Beth, particularly Jill. My relationship with her is going to end for sure. I am grateful for your comment regarding their past. Since I was 12 years old, Beth and I had been friends, and she was one of the few people in our year group who did not bully me. Being able to accept her is made easier by the fact that Liz, Megan, and Kelly are her friends. As a result of the absurdity of the situation, I am contemplating cutting off Beth and dealing with the consequences of the situation. Who preserves 30 years worth of drama? Not only is this strange, but it was just like this while she was at school. I do not understand her or her objectives. The bullying of a 12-year-old by a 17-year-old was not stopped by anyone, was it? It's great that Beth and Jill's family are acting as if it's a harmless game, but my family was so preoccupied with the bullying that was going on at school that I didn't inform them about Jill's situation. Remarks, since it was so insignificant in comparison to what I had to go through. My eyes have been opened by Beth to the role that she and Liz play in this situation, and I believe that it is time to cut them off. However, Liz will have one more opportunity to apologize. What is it about she that makes being her friend so wonderful? During the 2 years that have passed since the last time we saw each other, I have been thinking about your questions for a few minutes, and I have been unable to think of anything that I have missed about Beth. What about our group? There is a lot, but not Beth. Especially when it comes to my health, we have been fighting more frequently as we have become older. I have been trying to keep my mouth shut for the sake of our group, but I have to tell Meg and Kelly that I will be cutting off communication with Beth and Liz. Certainly AITA 4376. The NTA. She was a continuous bully. There is no acceptable form of apologizing. Beth has a clear understanding of who her sister is. She was at her side when Jill made a mistake. My apologies, Beth. Beth, our unrepentant squirrel, was not your friend and she did not support you in any way. Jill and she are both ox, and you are deserving of better. Not only is Beth in a hole for not having your back, but she is also an unrepentant squirrel. It is inexcusable that she let her sister to talk to her in such a manner, and it is mystifying that she expected you to apologize. You are better off without Beth, despite the fact that it is painful to lose a friend. With the passage of 21 years, Matt Davies, Beth has not changed. Is there a reason you believe it will change? 1962 years of boredom. The NTA. While she may give, she does not receive. There is no apology extended to them. A 2 is the grade that Beth holds. Quite the pair. 38 and fleeing to 34, since another 34 bullied her despite her best efforts. This brawl in the playground was called by you. Take care, Beth. She achieved this by concealing the fact that Jill was going to be coming. Your AITA 4376 is correct. All right. Next, she offered her support. Sibling, whose statement was obvious to be false. Over the course of the previous few years, I've made the realization that those who advise against apologizing, since doing so demonstrates a lack of strength, are correct. In point of fact, it is about avoiding being brushed against. I had the impression that it was a power play that was on the verge of becoming crazy. With the fact that did nothing wrong, apologizing would be the same as admitting that I am a doormat, and that you are free to walk all over me. It is appropriate to apologize for any wrongdoing, but not in order to make other people happy. In the aftermath of my most recent post, a few of you asked me to provide you with an update on my decision. I am grateful to everyone who has assured me that I am not nuts. I am grateful for your support because Liz and Beth asked me to apologize, and I am grateful for your support, causing me to have doubts by me. The majority of you also noticed that Beth made it possible for Jill and Liz to anticipate me to roll over in order to find calm. The realization that our group has been playing the role of peacekeeper to Beth and Liz for many years has been beneficial to Megan, Kelly, and myself. Regarding the most recent information. Throughout the day, Liz has been sending me texts and contacting me, telling me that I was out of order, and that I owe all 3 of them an apology for my actions and for dragging things out. There is no response from Beth. She even offered to pay for everything and take everyone, including Jill, to a restaurant, so that we could make up for what had happened. Despite the fact that I have not committed any wrongdoing, I do not wish to pay their beverage bill the equivalent of a month's rent. The more I was persuaded to cease communication with her when she suggested this. I let Megan and Kelly know last night that I will not be apologizing to Jill for my recent behavior. It would be best if I never saw her again because she is stuck in the mean girl attitude of her high school years. Because Liz and Beth never apologize, I've reached the point where I'm sick of repressing my feelings in order to prevent tension, and as a result, I'm cutting off contact with them. It was anticipated that the dissolution of the association would result in demonstrations. Megan astonished me when she expressed that the reason she remained with Liz for such a long period of time was because, similar to Beth, Liz was one of her only friends during the years that she was bullied, and she did not want to cause any trouble. It is possible that Kelly would explain that she has known for years that Liz and Beth have been treating the 3 of us as if we are beneath them, but she has been hesitant to speak up about it. Megan and I would be lost to her. At long last, we had a conversation about how we feel about this group, and we came to the conclusion that Beth and Liz are not friends of ours. Kelly and Megan presented me with the texts that Beth and Liz had sent to me, depicting me as a devil who was attempting to ruin their lives. I couldn't help but laugh when Liz told them about how I had spoiled her wedding by not attending because I had to go to the hospital for an emergency operation. It wasn't until 5 years later that I realized I had botched things by asking visitors at the reception about my health, which diverted their attention away from her special day. I am sorry that this happened. Any and all contact will be severed. I don't see Jill, Beth, or Liz disappearing from our lives in a quiet manner once they realize that we are not going to play baseball, so we are planning a trip to the zoo for the following week, so that we may enjoy a day away from the tension of the situation. Aquavanatus. The comments and conversation disclose some really interesting stuff. However, it is very evident that Jill, Beth, and Liz have benefited from this fraud for a number of years. Currently, Kelly and Megan are aware of everything. It is possible for 3 of them to live a life free of drama and avoid the other 3 for all time. The Hunter Cordy. That's good. It's 4. It is you. You 3 are going to have a lot of joyful days ahead of you, so this is wonderful news. The NTA. Indeed, Harry Potter fanatic number 23. If you want to prevent them from harassing you with other numbers, I would change all of your numbers to get in touch with you. I'll make sure that Kelly and Megan are aware of your recommendation, Sleepy Chickop. Liz and Beth have been blocked by me, owing to the fact that keeping my medical information up to date would be a hassle for my job, my friends, and my family. I'll change my phone number if they continue to harass me. You did a wonderful job of defending yourself, Queen Legolas. Warning, they are going to make a big issue, possibly on the internet. Monkeys that fly could be encountered by you. Hello, sleepy girl, we are getting ready for anything that may come our way. As a precautionary measure, I have informed my family and friends about flying monkeys. They are attempting to kill me. It is tough to get in touch with me online because I do not have a lot of social media accounts, other than an old Facebook profile that I use to stay in touch with friends and relatives who live in other countries. As a result of Kelly and Megan's increased activity, they have eliminated contacts and excluded supporters of Beth and Liz. We are working hard to maintain our lead. There is a capitalization of the culprit 42. I will never be able to comprehend adults who behave like immature children when they have a frontal brain that has not yet formed since I have finished being a teenager. A few people actually attain that pinnacle, due to the fact that they were appealing. As a result of being popular, liked, or not wanting to be bullied in high school, they believe that they are wonderful. They lose everything when they lose those commodities or when others outgrow or become tired of their garbage because they had nothing else, they had nothing else. When they remember about their glory days, they say to themselves, I'm still awesome as I was in high school. Everyone else is wrong now. Let's hear the next story. This is the second story. Wife asked for a divorce all of a sudden. The moment I became aware of their affair, I informed their supervisor and terminated their employment. Because she is currently without a job and her new lover wants to go, she is in need of my assistance. For 7 years, my soon-to-be ex-wife, who was 28 years old, and I had been together. For 5 years, we were married. In spite of the fact that our careers precluded us from having children, we had a lot of other exciting plans for the future. Over the course of our 7 years together, we never had a disagreement on our path or our goals for the future. When my wife started a new job in February, she was introduced to a coworker who was 38 years old. After 2 weeks of training, she returned home and immediately began a conversation with this individual. Despite the fact that I am aware that our industry is dominated by men, I have never experienced feelings of envy with her. Never once did I question her commitment or... There are limits. I observed that she sent a lot of texts to this guy. When I brought up my concerns twice in the month of March, she reassured me that he is nothing more than a buddy. There were common subjects of interest. I'm not religious in the sense that I don't belong to the Christian faith or discuss the Bible. Despite the fact that I was aware that they were going to be working out together once more at the end of March, she even threatened to quit talking to him if I felt uncomfortable talking to him. I refrained from pressing the issue because I was aware that she would talk to him anyhow. I made it a habit to inquire about my wife's happiness in our marriage and to inquire about ways in which I could enhance it. I was never the target of her criticism, and as recently as the middle of March, she referred to me as the best thing that had ever happened to her. At the end of March, she moved for a different area to receive job training for a period of 1 month. This caused things to alter. We got along well in the beginning, but by the end of the week we were having a lot of disagreements. I am partially to blame because I was feeling upset and going through personal troubles at the time, but there was something more that disturbed me. She appeared distant and made strange forecasts about the future that were not appropriate for her. This made me uneasy because we argued so infrequently. Prior to April, I do not recall our most recent significant conflict. For us, it has been a challenging and stressful situation. I felt horrible since I was aware of how significant that was for her. Regarding a disagreement with her. The fact that she did not establish boundaries with this guy from work was the source of our argument, and I could tell that he had romantic feelings for her. It was her assertion that we require some time to reflect on our relationship and our future. Even though she had expressed her love for me, things had changed. Her desire for space was something I respected, even though I didn't understand it. 2 days later, she made the announcement of her divorce on FaceTime. It was distressing, and I was unable to comprehend the circumstances, but I had a feeling that she was the one. May possibly depart with this other person. The roller coaster ride of feelings and doubts that I experience. When she arrived back at her house in the middle of May, I went to the airport to pick her up. Upon seeing her, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. Following a gap of 1.5 months, she did not give me a hug. None of the luggage was unpacked by her. We arrived at our house. On that very first evening, she looked me in the eyes and explained that she was no longer in love with me and that she wanted a divorce. I made an effort to fix the matter. Despite the fact that it was challenging and unpleasant, with the hope that she would be affected by our disagreements and the emotional ups and downs that I experienced. It was the following day that she altered her conduct. The final few days before she left, she wanted to spend them cleaning the house and making memories with her family. After 7 years, I finally decided to check her phone because I had the impression that she was trying to conceal something from me. Prior to her coming home, I learned that she had been seeing that coworker guy and had signed a lease to move in together. I was surprised to learn this information. It is this: around 1.5 months after she had left her home in March, she assured him that she would give up everything in order to begin a new relationship with him. The surprising news left me angry and perplexed, and it hurt even more. Going through her phone is something I now regret doing because it was something I had never done before in our relationship, and I felt as though I had crossed a boundary. During that very moment, I captured screenshots of her conversations with the coworker and claimed that nothing had occurred in order to demonstrate how far she would go with her lies. I questioned her about her relationship with this coworker for several days, but she never provided an honest response. Over the course of that evening, I finally reached a point of hatred and fury, and I demanded the truth. She placed the blame for my issues on me, claiming that we were unable to be together. During the heated arguments that we had, she lied. That evening, she departed. And when she finally did, I texted her all of my screenshots and told her that I was aware of everything. To see how far she would go in her dishonesty, I informed her that I was testing her dishonesty. This was her argument that they began dating after she discussed the possibility of divorce, therefore it wasn't considered infidelity. She mentioned that she had been wanting to leave the relationship for a considerable amount of time, but she was waiting for the right moment to do so, since she perceived me to be controlling and abusive. Seeing her leave and being aware that it could mean the end of my life. Spending time with her was one of the most challenging times of my life. I pleaded with her to be truthful and remain faithful to our marriage to the very end. When she had been a wonderful wife for 7 years, I don't understand how she could have changed so drastically in such a short amount of time. I am still perplexed and interested in you. Immediately following the departure of my wife, I contacted a divorce attorney. The house, the cars, and the money were all given to her, but she did not want any of it. All that she wanted to do was complete. Although I did not want to divorce, I could not put her in danger. In order to change her thinking, I did it. Since I have the paperwork that has been signed back, it is now in progress. It has been challenging, but I am making an effort to keep going. Before we parted ways, I wished for her to acquire some knowledge. I felt wronged by her behavior, and I was upset about it. I made a decision to take action without compromising my integrity. She generated a PDF using screenshots of talks she had with her coworkers. Their manager received it from me. In the future, I hoped that this would assist students in not only understanding their behavior but also respecting others. They were fired within a short period of time from the company. It was a wonderful way to begin their romance. I did not want to bring myself down to her level and destroy my reputation, even if her adultery caused me to suffer adverse effects. 2 months ago, she informed me that she desired a divorce, and since then I have been doing much better. I have been appealing for compassion from my soon-to-be ex-spouse. She disclosed to me that she has been experiencing issues in securing employment, and that her boyfriend is contemplating ending their relationship due to the fact that she contributed to him losing his job. If she thinks that I will assist her, she is beyond sanity. In an effort to better myself and redefine myself, I have been working hard. Our partnership, like both of us, was not without its quirks. The thing that hurt me the most was how quickly everything changed. She moved in with a new person after leaving our marriage after only 2 months of being together. The idea that someone who is new to her life might obliterate all of our memories, everything that we have established, and our aspirations for the future in a single night is difficult to comprehend. But I've come to the conclusion that dwelling on the past will not assist me in moving forward. Instead, I would like to concentrate on the benefits I have received and the opportunities that lie ahead. Despite the fact that I am striving toward a bright future, I am learning to realize that there are some things that are beyond my control. Over time, I feel I will recover and discover new joys in my life.